As Formula One enters its second winter break, we are just sitting here wondering, when is Formula One going to return for the 2020 season? As we discussed last week, the Canadian Grand Prix will not be taken with affirmative action and just cancelled straight away. The organisers are holding on. The Canadian officials have said that they want the race to go ahead and become the opening round. And we'll just have to leave that for now. There's a little bit more news about this in this episode, but whatever happens, we'll have to play along with. Some positive news in this episode, and some good, positive, and some funny stories in this edition of F1 24/7 News. Now let's start with Mercedes, the 6-time world champions in F1. Now this isn't F1 related, but it's very innovative for the world and a big thing coming out of Brackley and the Mercedes name. So Mercedes high performance powertrains have teamed up with the University College of London to work together to make the CPAP, or the Continuous Positive Airway Pressure, which has been given the approval by the NHS, the public figure of English healthcare. Now they've worked alongside many Formula One teams based in the UK to try and combat COVID-19, the outbreak, the coronavirus. Of course, everyone knows about that right now. Working with alongside some of the teams, including Red Bull Racing, based in the UK, is what's being called Project Pit Lane, which does sound cool. It's nice to see a lot of the teams working together rather than against each other, like in F1 seasons. Now this CPAP is being used in other countries such as Italy and China, of course, where the outbreak has been a bigger problem, and it's definitely helped patients across the board. It is definitely a worthwhile piece of equipment, and to be made by Mercedes is an added bonus. It is really great to hear this news. Now Andy Cowell is the managing director of Mercedes AMG High Performance Powertrains, and he says, the Formula One community has shown an impressive response to the call for the support, coming together in Project Pit Lane to support the nation needed at this time across a number of different projects. We have been proud to put our resources and the service of the UCL to deliver the CPAP project to the highest standard and the fastest possible timeframe. Professor Tim Baker, who is the UCL Mechanical Engineering professor, said, we have given urgent need, and we are thankful with Mercedes to make this process to be taken down the years to a matter of days. From being given a brief, we have all worked many hours of the day disassembling and analysing off-patient devices, including computer simulators, and we have improved the device further to create a state-of-the-art version suitable for mass production. We are privileged to be able to call the compatibility of Formula One and Mercedes a collaboration made possible by the close links between the UCL Mechanical Engineering side and HPP, or the Mercedes High Performance Powertrains. This is amazing news for Formula One, for Mercedes and the many teams that have been involved with Project Pit Lane. Of course, the news has been devastating for everyone across the board, including the big teams in F1. It's nice to see everyone pulling together and helping each other. Now, since the start of the Formula One season, 8 races have been cancelled. The next round is the Canadian Grand Prix in June, and as the Canadian officials say that they want the race to go ahead, and also Liberty Media and the FOM want that as well, of course changing situations might delay that even further. But Formula One have said that they're going to have a crucial meeting in the middle of April to discuss what to do with the remaining races in the season. Of course, many YouTubers, including ourselves, have debated what to do. Many people have said a super season. Many people have said have a non-championship event. There's been loads and loads of speculations about what to do. But the Formula One bosses are going to get together as a project by Liberty Media on video comments to discuss what to do. Now this will just be a meeting to decide what will happen with the remaining races. Of course, there is still a lot of races to be held, but when we're going to start, where we're going to start, and what to do with the rearranging races is of course a massive topic. The situation in the world of course comes first, and public health, but aside from that, there has been a lot of delays in Formula One. Of course, over 1 million fans have lost money, have lost revenue, including hotels and everything around Formula One events, including the cancellation of all of the 8 races that we've seen on the calendar. Also as well, the 2021 changes have been put on hold until 2022, But again, all the innovations that were going to be brought in for next year have to be delayed, which of course costs Formula One money. The budget cap and everything else which has come with the regulations has to be delayed, and this is going to be a massive change to everything, especially lower down teams such as Williams, who were planning on these changes. It has affected everyone, of course the main one being Ferrari, who've had to shut down production in Maranello a good few weeks before this video was recorded, and of course a lot of other teams around the world are struggling. So all the bosses will get together, along with Chase Carey and the FOM, and hopefully get a decision on what their opinion is, what to do for the remaining races of the season. But as I said there at the start, it is a world pandemic. It is really a changing of the world situation. They'll just have to put up with anything, whatever is thrown at us. But of course, in terms of cancelling the race, as we've said there many times before, the Canadian Grand Prix will go ahead. That's what they want. That's what they're telling everyone. And that's what we're telling everyone. Because we do want to see Formula One back very, very soon. And hopefully something that can be sorted by June. Of course, this will just be a meeting on what Formula One thinks, and also how to change the season, so that many races, more races, and of course the season can repair itself and get back to normal ways very, very soon. This will be around the middle of April. Expect a decision by the FOM coming out and a statement by Formula One. But of course, as I've just said there, it's not 100%. What Formula One and what the fans want is different to, of course, what's happening in the world right now. So we're just going to have to wait and see when Formula One returns. Now, if there's one thing that we learned from these situations, is that the world is a nice, kind place. A lot of celebrities and athletes have donated money to help fight the pandemic and support the national healthcare in different countries. Drew Brees, the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, has donated $5 million to the Louisiana healthcare system to help patients overcome the coronavirus pandemic. If you remember over 10 years ago when the Boxing Day tsunami hit, Michael Schumacher donated $5 million in those situations, and there's been many celebrities over this coronavirus pandemic who have donated money, time and support to everyone affected. Lando Norris, the McLaren driver who recently turned from a teenager, has done his bit, or is planning to do his bit, for the coronavirus response. On a Twitch a few weeks ago, he announced that he was going to be shaving his head to support the coronavirus response fund and was going to raise $10,000. Now the fund is at around $12,000 and is set to rise. Now Lando Norris, a very popular streamer, sim racer, overall celebrity, and of course the McLaren driver, I guess the celebrity part comes first, is definitely someone that a lot of people are going to be watching. He wants to do his bit to, of course, support the Coronavirus Response Fund and the World Health Organization, and this is what he's pledged. So in a Twitch stream, he released that he was going to be shaving his head in response to this, if he could raise over $10,000. It sits at over $12,000 at the moment, and we'll look forward to Lando Norris coming out with a shaved head. Now again, whenever Formula One returns, the hair might have grown back, but hopefully we can see a bald Lando racing as what we'd like to see. He said in a statement, "Thanks to all my viewers for raising over $12,000 by the end of my Twitch stream id. This Twitch stream was set up to fight against the coronavirus. Do I have to cut off all my hair now though?" McLaren teammate Carlos Sainz replied on Norris's Instagram, "Oh boy, I'm ready." I think a lot of people would want to find out how Lando Norris gets on, or hope he records when he cuts off his hair. I know a lot of people that did that through school to, of course, raise awareness for charities and things like that. So to see Lando Norris do this is really incredible. We look at our high-performance Formula One drivers and think that they'll just be spending all their time in the gym and away from social media. But to do something like this is incredibly heartly, is amazing. It is incredible to see. A great gesture. All that money, but also the support that he's showing, getting everyone to continue their awareness around this, and hopefully, even though he can't physically help in this pandemic, he can do his bit, losing his head hair in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Also, that money will go a long way in the world to help against this pandemic. Lando Norris is a great guy. We've talked about him a lot on these shows with different stories coming out of Twitch and things like that. And this is just another heartfelt one. And again, because of all the news that we've had in the last few weeks, it's definitely something to make you smile. It's definitely made me smile. And I can't wait to see the Instagram post where Lando Norris comes out with no hair. So when Daniel Ricciardo asked that question in the press conference in Silverstone, maybe he wasn't referring to hair, maybe he was referring to his head hair. Maybe he knew that he would shave it off eventually. Thank you very much for listening, guys. That is the end of F1 24/7 news. Of course, no actual live Formula 1 news at the moment, but I would say some pretty big stories. The Mercedes partnership with the UCL is a massive innovative change, and I'm looking forward to reading a lot more about that in the future. Again, a lot of teams have got together to work, and there is a lot more planned for the future. Again, a lot of them are raising funds, awareness, and developing technologies that can be used in the world. Sometimes the world does look to Formula 1 as the pinnacle of motorsport and the pinnacle of technology. Thank you very much for listening as always, guys. Make sure to stay safe out there, of course, in this pandemic situation. If you do like what you're hearing and what you're seeing in our channel, please like and subscribe. Stay on track with us throughout the situation we are in at the moment. And of course, whenever we get to the 2020 season and onwards, we do have some amazing content for you guys to fill in the time of no Formula 1. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, guys, stay safe, and we'll see you later.